Welcome to the Feldenkrais Guild of North America 2025 conference. I am Elinor Silverstein, and today I'm here with Stacy Barrows. And Stacy's going to be teaching a workshop titled Healing to Learn, Navigating Recovery Through a Feldenkrais Method Lens. Tell us about this.
Thank you. Thank you for being included in this. And to be honest with you, the title grabbed me. I know that the Feldenkrais method has had a huge impact in my ability to be creative, to learn, to have choices, to build a way to navigate ongoing things that come up. And last year, something came up. It was breast cancer, and thankfully, very treatable, but it had its things to work with. And I really felt that the Feldenkrais method gave me those tools. And I thought it'd be nice to share those tools and see, or at least share the ideas of how we can really navigate certain things that we didn't predict.
And you had some pretty rough treatment and a little bit of a rough go through it. So you're not navigating something simple. You're navigating the complexities of how you worked with yourself. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I think it's all relative, to be honest with you. But there's certain things, radiation. I actually had the arrogance to think, well, I know how to breathe. They want me to breathe a certain way. No, I really had to be different and do things, that had that way of doing. You have lymphedema, you have a different thing. So the things that I have some understanding of, I think it might provide people some ideas. I hope I'd like to give them some tools, things that I experienced, things that I jerry-rigged, things that I, worked off in terms of having to go to PT to get my arm measured, those kinds of things.
Right. Okay. Wow. This is so important. And did you have success with yourself using this way of thinking?
I feel so. In the sense that if I hadn't had even a couple complications, I really thought this is really not a problem. And it was really nice to hear one of my clients when she had taken a pause with treatment for a while and she came back. And it was just a matter of scheduling. The way I approached it, I said, well, I've got some appointments. I got diagnosed last year. And she just kind of took a stance back. And I looked at her and I said, no, it's actually a really good story. So to me, it was, and turns out the week later, she reaches out. She goes, my mom just got that diagnosis. And I was able to really tell her that, you know what, it's not like that's when you get that diagnosis, we all have that history. But I think what's really wonderful is how we can, sometimes when you're up against a corner, you have to figure out, that's not the direction you can always, take. So, yeah.
So let's talk more. Can you tell us more before your workshop, like how you helped yourself navigate that
Yeah.
you want to share as part of the workshop?
Yes, I've been very fortunate. I haven't done a Bones for Life training, but when it came into my medication follow-up was going to definitely affect my bone density. I right away, before I even got on the medication, started really going back through the tools that I learned from that, which is, connected through the Feldenkrais method, as we know. My PT training, it was really interesting to go to a PT, have her show me some exercises. And I took those exercises, but I Feldenkraised it, which is what Ralph Strauss used to tell me to do. Just Feldenkrais it. So it just helped me be look at it from variation and using it from a way to be more skeletal and to not oppose in myself while I'm trying to work with resistance or what's an appropriate amount of effort. So I have some, I'm going to give some very specific things, let people experience, people know about resistance bands. I'd love to give them some ways that we can look at that. I have very specific ATMs, awareness through movement lessons, that I think were very instrumental for me to feel whole because I was very, it's you really reshaped. So just those kinds of things I'd like to include and help bring light to something for somebody else, hopefully.
So earlier you mentioned you had lymphedema because of the radiation, which is like almost for sure, right?
Yeah,
For a lot of women.
it's hard to say what triggered that. And fortunately, I had a very mild case, but I had some complications with the node resections that in my axillary area there was a lot of trauma. So that's, we know that's, a very rich place for, a lot of our lymph systems. So that probably did, and it was interesting. I learned through sensation to get thrown off. It was interesting. There's certain things that I thought I was sensing until I realized that, it was just really interesting. It sounds silly, but I remember, I'll give a little Ralph Strauss story that when Myrna said that sometimes would come to, to their house, and she would say, they'd go, "Where's Ralph?" And she says, "Oh, he's in his room playing with himself." And that just, and I really get it because we have a lab. Our laboratory is how we build out, and the beauty of being in this work for so long has provided me with just many more ways of exploring. And I think
So
that,
may I ask, did you have success somewhat with yourself with the arm
yeah.
for you did?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, no, no. I reverse quite a bit. So yeah, and it's been really interesting because it's humbling because I thought I knew. I mean, my background was being a shoulder, post-operative shoulder expert or whatever you want to call it. And I thought I knew what was going on, and not at all. And so it was really, to be honest with you, I was humbled that as I did the exercises from the PT, it's like, wow, that there was all these other joints that were being triggered, and I started feeling the systemic change. So that was great. So I'm keeping those going, but then I get to play with it and create a little awareness through movement strategies that make it, so I don't fade out. I pay attention so I can, be observant, in real time while I'm doing it.
This is so crucial because whether it's the upper half of the body for cancer surgery, lower half of the body for women, or lower half of the body for men as to lymphedema in the arms or lymphedema in the legs, this in itself is brilliant work that it could help the human race to help with the lymphedema. So
Definitely.
Stacy, thank you for your incredibleness in how you have an experience. You share it, but you share what you did and the successes, maybe even in the failures, but how you helped yourself so that it ends up that you help other people.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.